Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Listen Up for the last check-in against Creighton. Well, the UConn Huskies just keep on rolling through their schedule in the month of January and their Big East opponents, but this matchup on Saturday against Creighton may very well be their toughest in-conference challenge so far. But before we get further along into it, appreciate you guys as always for joining me on this Friday afternoon for the last check-in video. Of course, like I mentioned, big game tomorrow against the Creighton Bluejays. I believe Phil will be back on here with me for that game recap video tomorrow. So make sure you guys definitely check that out after the game. We're definitely expecting this game to be a very good one. Probably will be a little bit later after that game, probably a little bit later in the night, but we definitely will, as always, of course, have that game recap video out for you guys. But without further ado, let's talk about this very highly anticipated Big East matchup. UConn making the long journey to Omaha, Nebraska to play the 16-3 Creighton Bluejays. Creighton is the only other team in the Big East that is also undefeated in conference play. UConn 9-0, Creighton 8-0 so far. Now, Creighton actually started the season ranked 21st, but after a shocking opening loss to South Dakota State, they have not been ranked since. Their other two losses have come to ranked opponents, number 1 UCLA and number 10 Kansas State, but they were able to beat one ranked opponent. It was against Nebraska. Head coach Jim Flannery has built this program up and has had a well-rounded team the past couple years. And this is a very experienced group that has been able to stay together. It's a team that's made up of 7 juniors and 2 seniors. Fifth year senior guards Morgan Maly and Lauren Jensen have been leading the Blue Jays in scoring, both averaging over 17 points per game. Fifth year player Molly Jensen is averaging just under 10 points for the Blue Jays, and Mallory Blake and Jamie Horan also returning for their fifth seasons on this team. So the time is definitely now for Jim Flannery's squad to make a run, hoping to make a deep postseason run, just like they did a couple years ago. I believe they reached the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, but he will be losing quite a few players in the off season. So they definitely have the experience to do it, but can they put it all together to take down the top teams like UConn? Now for our Huskies, I'd say they've been playing pretty good as of recently. To be honest, I'm not really sure what else they could be doing to improve. Maybe there's a couple of things you can nitpick at, which I'm sure Gino does every day in practice to try to make the team better. But based off of the last 2 games, it seems like they figured out the problem of not being able to play 4 consistent quarters, which has been really fun to watch. But just like Creighton, the time is now for our UConn Huskies to finally go out and win it. And it starts by defeating tough teams on the road like this. Obviously, Caitlin Chen coming off of one of her best games. We have Aubrey Griffin coming back, slowly implementing her off the bench, slowly getting her minutes up. Paige, AZ, Sarah, obviously all been playing great really the whole season. Ever since AZ's come back from injury, UConn has definitely gotten a lot better, especially from the offensive side of things. Ashlyn Shade, KK Arnold, Morgan Shelley continuing to have great performances off the bench. Jana, I'd say, is playing a little bit better in the starting lineup. Ice Brady, a couple of good games here and there for her. Hopefully, her confidence keeps rising as well. But yeah, I mean, I'd say overall, UConn's been playing pretty good. So hopefully they can keep it up in Nebraska tomorrow for this tough matchup. But we'll go ahead and get into a couple of comments here from the last game recap video, and I will give my prediction. First comment we will go to just me. They said, "Hi, Riot. The video settings look good. Tell Phil to get well soon. UConn's offense is on a roll. Let's hope that continues." This was one of Chen's best games. Gino's doing a good job of getting all players some minutes. I think he found the starting five with a very strong bench. Yeah, I think Phil is feeling better. So like I said, he will be with me for the game recap video. And like I said, UConn for sure has been on a roll as of late. Pretty much this whole month of January, to be honest. Yeah, Caitlin Chen obviously having her best game in a UConn uniform. So I think we're all hoping that continues for her and for this team. And yeah, Gino's talked about how he's kind of had the idea for a little while of how he wants to I think to distribute everybody's minutes. I think he kind of has a good idea of now how he wants every game to kind of go. We're definitely going to find out in the Tennessee and South Carolina games of how each game is going to look in the postseason, I think, based off of everybody's minutes, because obviously those two games were expecting to be pretty close games for Tennessee and South Carolina. So I think what the lineups we see, people coming off the bench, I think that's what we'll see probably for the rest of the year in the postseason. Next comment we'll go to from Bond Riley. They said UConn is beginning to look like the team we thought they were. Something on Gianna. I watched her in tournaments before she came to UConn. She is slowly getting into the mode she was before her injury. If she continues, we are going to have fun. Yeah, I agree with that. I think so too. Like I said with Jana, I feel like ever since she got put into the starting lineup, she's been playing a little bit better. I think her confidence has been rising every game, so it's definitely been nice to see. But I do believe she can obviously get a lot better. I think her ceiling is pretty high. I think next year we're gonna be expecting even a little bit more out of her, bigger things. But like I said, I think she really can. She has a lot of room to improve, but I don't think we've seen the best out of her. Hopefully for this season, she continues to get better. Her confidence continues to grow because we definitely need her down inside the paint. But I'd say of lately, these past couple games, she has been definitely getting better down there and looks a little bit more comfortable in the lineup. Last comment we will go to from U.S. veteran. They said everything should have clicked for UConn. Look at the competition they were playing. I don't like to sound like I am raging on UConn, but you don't mention the level of competitiveness they were slash are playing. And a couple replies I wanted to read on that from Jeanette Adams. They said they have to play every team in their division. And from Peter Clark, they said despite their record, Villanova is 64th in net ranking. Yeah, it's a very good point. Like me and Phil always say, obviously UConn has to play every team in their conference. So we acknowledge that, the Big East isn't the strongest conference, obviously in terms of UConn's opponents that they have to play. Everybody in the conference, there's the past couple years, ever since UConn returned to the Big East, there's been a couple of teams like Villanova, with Maddie Siegrist had a good team. Like I said, Creighton's been good the past couple years, solid team. Seton Hall pretty decent this year. But it's obviously not the whole conference. It's only one or two teams every year. But UConn doesn't really have a choice. They have to play their in-conference opponents. So I agree that they should be winning these games very convincingly. But Creighton teams like Creighton, Villanova, Seton Hall, even they're unranked, obviously, but they still do have a pretty good lineup. And obviously with Gino and UConn scheduling some of the toughest out of conference games every single year. You look at this year, USC, Notre Dame, both ranked in the top five. Obviously, we still have to play South Carolina and Tennessee. So, four of the best teams in the country, three of them ranked in the top five. So, I'd say the lack of in-conference toughness or level of competition, the out-of-conference schedule that UConn has, I would say, always makes up for it, in my opinion. Before I get into the prediction, I did want to mention Adam Edmonds. Me and Phil did see your message. We appreciate it. We will try to get back to you soon on that. But now for my prediction for this game. I think that this is a really big game for UConn. It's easy to overlook this one and say, well, Creighton's just another unranked Big East team. UConn's going to just destroy them like they have with all these other Big East teams. But I don't really think that's the case. But if UConn keeps this momentum going, I don't think there's too many teams that can beat them right now. Final score, I'm saying UConn 86, Creighton 70. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave your score predictions. And like I said, me and Phil will be back tomorrow night for the game recap. Hopefully, it's another UConn Huskies win, and we can keep this undefeated Big East schedule, Big East record going. But that's gonna do it for me for today. Hope you guys have a good day/night. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and I will see you back here with Phil on Listen Up.